Hello everybody, this is Meister Keen, and today I'm going to be showing off just a handful of things. I have got a pretty extensive workshop of designs that I've worked on and tweaked over a couple of years now, I think. And I've decided I'm going to start showing them off. And I'm going to start kind of systematically showing off a few things per video and put out a video probably every couple of weeks. So, we're going to start with this structure right here. Now this is a creative game. I'll show you guys here. This, I call it an eagle nest, and what it is essentially is just a defensive outpost. It's a strong enough defensive outpost with turrets that have got enough field of view and so forth that they could reasonably defend against just about any sort of base attack. The Xerax or whoever is attacking your base really cannot deal with that much firepower. Now, this structure is not actually all that expensive to place down. It comes with all cannon towers. None of these. This right here has been modified with a flak cannon. I would recommend upgrading to flak cannon when those are available to you. But we just start with minigun turrets and cannon turrets to begin with. And down here we get a little entrance, handy pad for storing stuff. And up here, we have got actually a bit of interior space. So this structure can actually work pretty well as a starter base. It could also work as a defensive post to place around other bases that you care more about. If you were to take out that little light there, you could stick a shield in there. If you wanted to turn this into a really hardened defensive point. Otherwise, it's just a really, really basic little base using fairly basic parts. Should be affordable fairly early on, especially after you've raided maybe one or two outposts. And that's that. That's the eagle nest. It is ugly as sin, I'll admit it, but it's also a very, very hard defensive point. All right, so talking about starter level stuff, we're going to come out here to these rolling hills. I think this is very pretty territory, and I really like placing these eagle nests up on high mountains, up on mountaintops. I think that's my favorite place to build anything. But anyway, let's get into my designs here. We're going to throw out a Badger hovercraft. Alright, now the Badger is a cute little thing. This is my starter HV. Not everybody starts with HVs. Personally, I always start with what I call a Rumrunner. It's a little starter small vessel. Because, to be honest, I really prefer to fly rather than crawl along the ground. But one thing that's kind of cool about HVs is that HV components are less expensive and more diverse than small vessels. If you've got an HV, like this constructor, this mobile constructor, it doesn't cost any exotic materials at all. I believe he takes a little bit of cobalt in a small vessel, but for an HV, just the very, very basic minerals that are available to you at the start. So this really can be a mobile base. You don't even need a base if you're flying this thing around sometimes. If you're traveling light enough. But the other point about this thing is that it's upgradable. So later on, there's enough space. Let's see if we raise this thing up a little bit and take a peek under the hood. There's actually enough space under here that you could conceivably move some things around, take some blocks out, and pop in a shield in the late game. You could pop some turrets up here on top, and you could turn this thing into a nasty little attack tank. That's late game stuff. But if you did actually want to take your old Badger and turn it into something that was useful in the late game, you could do that. And that was part of my intention for this design. It's very wide. It's got a very, very wide profile, so it doesn't tend to succumb to that bug where you'll sink under the water. And I just like how it's got a lot of get up and go. It's a very, very maneuverable little thing. It feels very good to fly or drive. And, see, coming down this mountain, I'm barely even touching the ground here. Yeah. It's just a pleasure to drive, actually. I've got some larger HVs, some utility HVs and things like that, but I don't think I've got anything else that flies quite as nicely as this does. So there's a selling point for it. I just straight up enjoy flying it, and I suspect you would too. All right, so that's all I wanted to show you. I got a base for you and a starter HV. Let's see, what else could I show you? I did mention the Rumrunner. I might as well actually pop it out. Why don't I do that? So, all right. So my starter small vessel, which is pretty much the first thing I spawn in on any on any game. Where'd I put it? There it is, the Rumrunner. Booyah. All right, this little guy right here is a minimalist small vessel. And you can see it's got a lot of functionality packed into it. It used to have a mobile constructor in it. Right here, actually. If you take those blocks out, that's where I actually packed in the mobile constructor. That's no longer viable because the mobile constructor in the small vessel is more expensive now, so I just took that out. But that is probably going to be your first modification to this thing. Pop a mobile constructor in there so you can actually get some constructing done on the go. Otherwise, I don't know, I guess maybe pack survival constructors with you. I'm going to turn that off just because I like to do that. All right, here we go. So the Rumrunner, I would say, is a little bit flawed in that it doesn't have a heck of a lot of side thrust. It will kind of want to run you into the ground if you try to do a lot of tricks with it, because it just doesn't have all of the oomph that it needs to be to have a really amazing flight profile. It doesn't fly like a ballet dancer in the sky, but it does fly pretty serviceably well, and you get used to it. You learn what works and what doesn't work, you know? And it becomes a very, very handy little craft. The thing about it is just that it is minimalist, it works, and it's also small. It can pack into a very, very small space. You never regret putting this thing out because it's just so easy to store, it's so easy to deal with. So yeah, there we go. There's the Rumrunner. Now, fun thing about the Rumrunner, you know, I might as well go a little longer in this video. How long is this video? We haven't even hit 10 minutes. All right, so we're gonna go into it a little bit. We're gonna talk about this. So the Rumrunner is a handy little starter craft, very, very handy little starter craft, and it's got all kinds of value to it just for being so minimalist, but also actually, you know, a couple of Gatlings. It's got enough firepower. You know, you can take on some POIs with it without much trouble at all. And also, you can build it with just the most basic materials. But what I inevitably found, I actually started up a server some time ago, and I gave everyone in the server Rumrunners to play with. And instead of building their own ships afterward, they started modifying their Rumrunners. And I wound up with a half dozen Rumrunners running around, all with different modifications to kind of build them up and make them more useful in the late game. So I kind of used that as a sort of a survey opportunity, and I went, okay, well, so if they're modifying their Rumrunners, what are they adding to them? And so I decided to make a beefed up, upgraded Rumrunner that would include the sorts of features that were being added to it. You know, more storage, that mobile constructor had to be in there. You know, mainly beefed up, more armor and more storage and more guns. They wanted to have a couple of missile launchers on there. They wanted to have more Gatlings. So actually, I'm going to further modify my bootlegger right here in front of you. We're going to take a couple more Gatlings here. Yeah, you just slap another gun right on there. That's what these ships. I'm not a purist about these ships. I see them get modified all the time, and the bootlegger is really a response to the Rumrunner getting modified. And when put out the bootlegger and giving people bootleggers to play with, they don't tend to modify them too much. So I considered that to be a slightly more successful design for the mid game. You know, that's how I gauged that. Were people they wanted spotlights on there, so I added spotlights. They wanted more thrust on there, so I added thrusters. You know, they wanted more guns, so I added more guns. You know, a little more armor. Well, all right, and because you'd see those sorts of modifications going into these little Rumrunners. I've actually got a buddy who's got who still uses his Rumrunner. It's not even recognizable. He's changed out everything. It's not a Rumrunner anymore. But it started as a Rumrunner, and now it's been built out into this massive SV that he uses for everything. Literally everything. He's got every kind of tool attached to it. I don't even know what to say about the thing. But yeah, the bootlegger definitely has got a little more oomph. It's got a lot more power to it. Feels better to fly than the Rumrunner, and you feel a lot less limited, a lot more maneuverable. It's easier to dodge shots from a POV or POI rather. Yeah, and that's your bootlegger. So the Rumrunner and the bootlegger, a couple of the little brother and the older brother of the starter SV. Oh shoot! Whoops! I just keep slamming this thing into the ground. So that's the little brother and the big brother of the starter SV line. Ugh! Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? It just keeps on dropping down like that. You know what? I might actually add some more thrusters because I don't know why it's doing that. Did I change something about my flight settings? What did I do? Oh well, I'll figure that out. That's a solution. I think I'll add a couple more downward thrusters to this thing and update the blueprint on the workshop. I'm constantly updating these things, constant little tweaks. You're going to see a lot of update notes on my on everything I've got in my workshop. So if you do take up any of my workshop designs and you don't like something, you know, pop on a comment. I always read the comments. I'm always taking suggestions for how to build these things. I think the bootlegger right there actually is an example of me taking suggestions and building up something different based on what people actually want. All right, well, that's that. I think I've talked your ear off enough, and I think I've shown off these designs plenty. So thanks for watching, and do check out my workshop. I've got plenty of other designs.